Students, faculty, staff, friends, and family, please join me in giving a strong Michigan welcome to this year's commencement speaker, Chairman Jane Chu.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I want to thank the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance for giving me the opportunity to celebrate this wonderful commencement with you, and in particular your dean, Aaron Dworkin. Dean Dworkin is a member of the National Council on the Arts, which advises the National Endowment for the Arts. The National Council is appointed by the President of the United States, and it's made up of experts in the arts from across America, and your own Dean Dworkin is no exception. Thank you so much, Aaron Dworkin, for all you do to make the arts thrive at the University of Michigan, in the state of Michigan, and across America. Thank you. There has never been a better time to appreciate what the arts can provide in terms of leadership, because we're living in a world filled with constant change and where new information is flying around us from multiple directions simultaneously. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody wants their opinion heard, even if it's different from ours. And while we used to look for leaders who were experts in only one specific subject, now we need leaders who can sort through and bring together all of the disparate pieces and who will find new solutions to bridge opposing perspectives. I was born into multiple cultures, often with seemingly opposite perspectives, and it was the arts that helped me make sense of my own life. My parents met in the United States, but both came from the beautiful country of China around 1949, when their home country was going through a lot of change in the government. There was a lot of turmoil. So they each came to America by themselves as young adults, and they never saw their families again. I, on the other hand, was born in Oklahoma, and I grew up in Arkansas, 11,000 miles away from the beautiful country of China, and equally as far away from the traditional Chinese way of life. And my daily activities were about simultaneously juggling two opposite ways of living, two often opposite perspectives, two opposite cultures. My parents spoke Chinese to each other at home, but I spoke English at school. They wrote and read vertically from right to left. I wrote horizontally from left to right. They liked to eat bok choy and noodles. I like to eat corn dogs and mashed potatoes. So I've grown up navigating through situations where people around me have differing perspectives, and many times wildly different from each other. Learning how to embrace those bok choy corn dog settings without force-fitting everybody to be exactly like each other. And the arts have been a very effective vocabulary set with which I can communicate way beyond the use of linear, everyday words, and they've opened the door for me to develop my own leadership skills. And I've come to realize that the type of really effective leadership that's needed for today's leaders boils down to one thing. How we do something is just as important as what we do. How we do something is just as important as what we do. You are to be congratulated for your graduation, for going through a very intense process that demands such a high level of discipline and excellence. And the great opportunity that you have right now is to celebrate your accomplishments and understand that you can use your educational training on so many levels. So on one level, you will aim for your best level of playing, of movement, of creation, of analysis, your best interpretation, your best techniques. You will aim for the highest quality of expressing yourselves, of teaching others, and of representing the work of other composers. So at your level, this training from the University of Michigan School of Music, Theater, and Dance has prepared you to go way beyond your fundamentals, big time, and you will do big things, substantive things. But on another level, your educational training has also prepared you to be. You know how to be in most any type of environment, understand the context, and your educational training serves as the framework for making quality, everyday decisions as a leader. For example, in working with different styles, Even if you have a job where you work mostly in solitude, there will be times when you will work alongside others. And when you work with others, you will encounter people with different styles, different ways of doing things, certainly with different perspectives from yours. And this can happen with the smallest nuance. You might make a comment as a leader, and someone on your team, because he or she has a different learning style, may interpret your comment in a way that's completely different from what you intended. So when we work with other people, it's also valuable that we have an understanding of how our coworkers assemble information, how they make decisions, and how they act at work. You don't perform Debussy the same way you perform Beethoven. And you don't approach a coworker who's focused upon facts and logical analysis the same way you approach another coworker who's focused upon whether a situation feels good. And what about listening to others? In paying attention to your surroundings, your educational training has taught you to listen with a keen ear, to hear the nuances of a composition. Most people can tell the difference between a fortissimo and a pianissimo, but you can differentiate between a forte and a mezzo forte. You know how to move at an andante tempo instead of allegretto. And this same ability to discern the nuances lets us listen intently to others. And that keen ear training differentiates leaders who are really good listeners from leaders who pay no attention to those they are leading. Really great listening skills allow us to move our relationships from surface to deep, because your staff is no longer just following you because you're the anointed leader. They're following you because they felt heard by you. And in bringing people together, leadership is highly dependent upon being able to bring people together. You can't really lead unless you have followers. And often the people you're pulling together not only come from different perspectives, but they may also not share the same objectives as you. So when do you give a group of people free rein to express themselves in a manner that's different from you? And when do you rein in everyone in the group so that together you can accomplish a single objective? Composers ask themselves these same questions about the music they write. They look for the times in the piece of music when a single musician might take a riff on her own, and other times when all of the performers have to come back together for the sake of the composition. And your own educational training acknowledges various styles and various themes. You understand the interweaving of a fugal theme, and when to make one voice prominent, and when to bring that one voice back down and let another different voice step out and make itself known. You know when to leap with exuberance, and you also know when to dance with the long, fluid, continuous movements. You know when to deliver your lines with furious intensity, and you're also comfortable basking in the timing of the silent pause when it can be even more articulate than filling in the spaces with just talk. Really effective leaders know when to step forward, and they also know when to hold themselves back so that others can lead. And here's the key: no single approach is right by itself all the time. An effective leader understands this same context. And because the arts are a form of communication, your educational training allows you to be an interpreter of sorts. My parents were not musicians, nor were they arts aficionados, but when I was 9 and my father died after a lengthy illness, those piano lessons that I had been taking dutifully as a child turned into the main vocabulary set that I could use to best express my own grief as a child. Music gave me a broader vocabulary than just the use of linear everyday conversation. And at the heart of your training is creativity, that creativity that's already within you, which allows you to see the patterns and the connections and the possibilities when others don't see them, to acquire meaning and value, and to build something from nothing, and to transcend those situations which may not appear to have one solution. They may appear to have possibly no solutions. If somebody looked at my resume, they might see a variety of unrelated work positions. But when I look at my resume, I see how everything I've ever done in the past has prepared me for what I'm doing now, because my previous activities have been focused upon having meaning. So it all counts. Creativity is this ability to see things in a different way. Creativity is the courage to step out and do something in a way that hasn't been done before. And many of us are in the arts because we need to create. We need to find ways of innovating, to use technologies to deal with change, and to take the resources that are available to us at any moment in time, whether our resources are abundant or they're scarce, and use whatever we have to create value and meaning. As leaders in creative fields, we have a great opportunity to provoke, to create, and to inspire. We have an opportunity to be lifelong learners so that we won't be boxed in by the same old and tired arguments. We have an opportunity to stand in the middle of different perspectives without shrinking back and provide a working environment that allows people to generate new insights, solve old problems in new ways, to unleash the creativity that's within each of us and embolden creativity in others, to pay attention to fresh approaches and ways of thinking. So whether you have taken an office, an oath of office as I have, or whether you have started a business, or you're introducing an idea through a new approach, the arts can bring together ideas and people and perspectives, and from them generate something beyond what we could have ever envisioned without the arts. The arts have been an integral component to my own leadership, not just because I'm working in the arts field, but because the arts have taught me that how we do something is just as important as what we do. And that's the kind of leadership I'm aiming for, and it's the kind of leadership you already have within you. So congratulations on your graduation. May all you do in the future bring meaning to your lives and the lives of others in a creative way. Thank you.